I've had a few requests. Make a video on solos ASAP at resub. The amount of people shooting and not rotating on every single rotate was pure insanity. And then another one from my boy Noah at resub. Please make a video so these players realize they don't need to jump on everyone they see. I have some personal experience with this. I was doing very well right here. 236 points on Middle East. 2 games left. I was like top 400 or something like that. Look at the loadout. Juiced. Looks crazy. The mythic tag. Chainsaw. Look at this zone. Ooh, that's rough. Guys, that's a rough zone. Max distance. Ooh, we got to get in. All right, now I'm going to leak a strategy I came up with. What can I say I came up with it? Not really, but it's just great. Right, with the chainsaw. As you see, I have a chainsaw here. In my head and out loud here, I said, this is going to be a goated rotate. So this is going to be a great rotate. Guys, watch this. So I'm here, and this is a 2-tick storm. So in my inventory, as you may have noticed here, I only had attack, but I also had 3 med kits. Full stacked. And this is a 2-tick storm. So with the chainsaw, which is infinite mobility, you can just do this all the way into dead side. Maybe pop a med kit when you get to here or something because it's a 2-tick or whatever. Freest. I don't know what this guy's doing. He's got a goated rotate. Same with this guy. You can just go all the way deep in with the thing. So this is my plan right here, okay? But remember those tweets. King Onyx, mate. I'll be honest. Look at the loadout this guy has. 96 mats. He's chilling. What are we doing? What are we doing here, man? What are we doing? Do you know how easy we could have both rotated? Do you know how easy this is? He's had no damage. He's dealt 0 damage. I'm getting keyed. Look at this zone. What are we doing? What are we doing here? He doesn't damage me at all. I'm going to skip forward. And I'm away. And then he decides to rotate. So by the way, he just wasted 300 wood to get nothing. And then is also making where are you going, bro? Making the worst rotate of all time. And then I was going to do the same thing. I was going to, right, it's time to go. And then there's another kid fighting me here. And at this point, yeah, the rotate was basically scuffed and I died because I went into congested side rather than going around there. So yes, please. Oh, also, I just want to show what happens to this guy. The guy who decided to key me full edge now has to look at this. What a surprise. He gets into a bad spot. He could have rotated to a good spot. Now he's max congested with a second zone pool and he's fighting again. He's again fighting on another max. He's chopped and now he's dead. So, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but if you actually pull a far zone, you're actually not meant to fight. You should actually just rotate because that guy griefed my game and now his own, and we're both dead. Don't worry, the rest of this video will not just be me moaning about max distance rotates and stupid players trying to kill you at the worst time possible. However, biggest strat, just rotate. Just go. You don't need to shoot everyone. You don't need to fight everyone. Everyone will play much better if you know that. Right, rest of this video, let's actually find some strats from pros. This is just something. This is a PSA to every solo Cash Card player next week. Please rotate. All right, whilst we're talking about chainsaws, my guy Virgo messaged me. He actually won NA and he decided to use chainsaw a lot. Now, chainsaw is actually really difficult to find, unfortunately. So I want to see the strats. I want to see what he's doing with it. It's really tough to replicate because it's hard to consistently get the chainsaw unless you find Itchy and Scratchy boss. I can't remember which one of them it is because then it gives you a 100% drop. But yeah, I'm not really sure about getting it from chest. It's like an extremely rare spawn though. The one obviously main benefit of this is that it's literally infinite. So when you're using the dash fish, which is of course the only other form of mobility that's in the game, you basically get 3 rotates out of it if you get max of them. But with this, you can have basically as many as you want. Another big thing for solos is obviously refarming. If you watch the squads video that I put out on this extra channel already, you'll know refarming is absolutely everything. And a lot of the spots you basically can, but because there's so many partials, you basically can always get into some sort of building and refarm something in some of these partials. So Virgo doing that right now. Also, one thing I'm going to put a short out, he opted to use the suppressed pistol a lot throughout this, and it is very good. I've said this already on this channel. I definitely was wrong in my main channel video where I said that the suppressed pistol is an early game weapon only. This thing is absolutely worth taking throughout the rest of the matches. 2x headshot multiplier, incredibly good hip fire accuracy, and obviously uses mini ammo as well, which is you don't have to carry medium. And also the ARs, like the suppressed AR is good, the striker AR has a bit cheeks. They're just neither of them are like amazing, so it's not like you're missing out on something by carrying the pistol instead. All right, zone pools to the northeast. I want to see some of this chainsaw rotates. I want to see what we're cooking with here. He is using a pet, by the way. I will be doing a short on this. I need to test this still more. So I'm going to be testing this. So watch out for like a TikTok and a short on my main channel. It says Fortnite pets can reveal enemy locations, kind of. So basically, the summary of this is that they bark in the direction of other players. So you can see the moment he's sitting here and there's a player crouching on him and the dog's like barking there. I don't have audio on, so you can't actually hear it. But basically, I want to see if that's true. I'm not saying I'm just mentioning this because I've remembered it when I saw Virgo's pet that he has here. But the other thing is that pets are also kind of pay to lose because at the same time, sure, they can bark when other players are sneaking near you, but you can also accidentally actually interact with them, which I've seen another clip. So keep an eye out on my main channel. I'm going to do a short with that. Just testing a lot of stuff. Keep in mind, if you're crouching and you hear your dog start to bark, there's probably another player like sneaking on you or something. All right, let's see the rotate. Pulls up through dead side. No chainsaw needed. The thing is, you don't actually, in solos, need mobility that much this season. Like, because there's only a couple dashes, like, you can actually just take a heal instead, or triple weapon or something. Like, I had a very successful game in the solo cash cup, and I had no mobility. It's actually probably one of my best games. Just because everyone's using dashes, like, you'll skip, like, 1 or 2 partials, maybe. But if you have good positioning on the partials, that is actually... Sorry, it's 1 or 2 endgame rotates you can skip, sorry. That's what I meant to say. But... I don't know. It's nothing incredible. You don't need mobility this season, I think. Oh, he's getting on the wall, getting invested. I guess shot in the back. Here's the dash fish. It'd be good to chuck that back, actually. Then you can get like a free rotate out of it. That's exactly what he's done. Nice. Juggled that back. That's good. Now he's also got cap mats, because getting a refresh at this kind of timing, obviously not on a max pool, but once he's rotated in, getting a refresh then means he's literally cap mats to going into endgame. So very, very, very nice. Second time, he's kind of sprayed forward, clearing. Obviously, there's also just a player who's rotated early. This one, you should be able to skip, because obviously he has that extra dash fish there. So he can spend the time to let the zone catch up here, kind of stagger. Shoot anyone he wants to on rotate. All right, time for the fish. Fish is now popped, and we're off. Right, dash, slide through 1 rotate. So again, like, you know, if he had 3 dashes, or 3 fish, sorry, that could be like 1 or, you know, 3 rotates he could essentially skip. So I want to see, he's still not really used the chainsaw yet, to be honest. So, all right, instantly cranked up for height. Like, no one was taking the front side. Height is extremely good, obviously, in solos and in everything. Who would have thought? But if it's free, you might as well take it. Use less mats rotating up there, as long as you stay relatively front side and don't just get chopped over and over again. If someone psychos for it, you just drop. The fact that Virgo has literally 120 builds means he can, I mean, he could just hold it for pretty much the entire moving zones. Still no chainsaw usage, though. I wonder if the structure damage of this is actually good. I guess you can cancel fall damage using the chainsaw too, now that I think about it. I can't remember how you do it, so I will watch. If he gets chopped, I kind of hope he gets chopped so I can see how he did it there. He did switch to it, so I'd imagine there's a way. Okay, there's literally been 1 single person that's looked up at height this entire time. But I will say the suppressed pistol's been doing absolute work up here. Outside of that, nothing interesting. No, I'll probably check another game to see the chainsaw. All right, we got it this game. So this is the one thing there. He was center of 5th zone, and then 6th zone pulls, and because it pulls to dead side, I mean, there's some funky zone pulls. With the chainsaw, had he just rotated by foot here, he could have gotten there extra early. But because he is, or early, ahead of everyone, but because he's the chainsaw, he can go extra early, gets up into a good spot, even go deeper if needed. Like, he is basically the first one. Yeah, he's the first one to rotate in here, just because of the chainsaw giving him priority. Guy near him boxed up. This is the kind of the strength of the pistol, I guess, is just spraying through that. You have to reload it a lot, but he is good at that. Goes in because it's reloaded. Yeah, it's insta-dead onto the other player. Similar, like a good timing for a refresh, right? Like into the partials, into later. Like, I know I was saying earlier about max rotates not to do it, but at this time in the game, in the mid game, actually getting like a good kill here can set you up so much for the end game. And that's something that Virgo does pretty frequently. I mean, he does a WQ a lot, as you can kind of see generally, but timing of that is still really good. All right, zone pulls. Where are we going? Completely max distance. He doesn't have dashes. This is actually going to be Fart Chicken 47. What a go. So this is going to be interesting because obviously a lot of other players, I mean, in this instance, if I've got a dash fish, like I'm using it here. Scouting ahead to see if there's anyone. Let's see what he ends up doing. All right, as zone starts to move, he goes insta with the chainsaw down onto low. Ooh, little slow. Doesn't cut through builds that quickly, so jump. Does that give you fall? I can't remember. Nice. This is a beautiful rotate past the old builds. Stagger. So there, I really like that. He's ended up boxing up because he got around all these builds. He has no idea what's in front of him. There are players holding him or just shooting generally, so he takes the time to wait for everyone to catch up. If he kept going there, he could easily just get sprayed, so nice little stagger. Chainsaw comes out. Straight into like a little ramp there. It's nice. He kind of used it to basically boost, and then he's ramped over everyone to give himself a nice little high layer. All right, zone pulls back, not kind of back, slightly through all of the congestion. Similar to before, this is kind of like a bad zone to have a chainsaw. Like, this is a zone that would be so good for a dash, because you just stay on high layers and you just dash to front side and you're absolutely fine. But with the chainsaw, when it pulls across water or with old builds, it's like really difficult to do anything. So let's see this tech. All right, stays on height, slides down, chainsaw comes out, little tarp, chainsaw to front. So he's kind of using it to like do a one little rotate and then dash. So it's almost like a speed boost, right? Using it to kind of push to the front side, jump out, build, repeat, you know? Because obviously if you just only use it on low, there's a high likelihood you're going to get sprayed. So the fact that he's kind of using it to stagger every rotate is really, really nice. All right, he's let zone catch up. He's kind of stuck in a lot of the congestion, but he does have some of the old builds here. Ooh. Free bang. Yeah, free kill onto this kid. Got the siphon now. He can play the storm. He's got extra mats. Chasing that guy's kind of crazy. Nice free kill. Good pick up onto the other weapon there. Onto the infantry. Upgraded his pump. Or downgraded. I didn't actually see. Nice layer change with a ramp over to get to a nice free layer. Again, not a huge amount of chainsaw in this part. All right, zone keeps pulling max. This is what I mean, Mar. Like, you don't really need a lot of mobility, right? He's used the chainsaw in Endgame for like one zone so far, and that was really it. And he used it obviously earlier. I think with the chainsaw in particular, as I kind of mentioned in my own solo cash cup, the strat that I had there, I think it's way better for the partial zones than it is actually for moving zones. Like, if you want to get to good dead side positions and refarm, which is one of the obviously like strongest like kind of strats you can have this season generally, because there's, you know, they come so early. Ooh, nice shot into the back there. That guy's just legging it. Yeah, I think something like Chainsaw's way better for that. But as you notice, like I kind of mentioned earlier, you just don't really need mobility for endgame that much. It's still useful, obviously, and like I'd rather take this, or I'd rather take dashes personally, I think, especially maybe in team modes, because you can drop them to your teammate. But yeah, Chainsaw's still really good. All right, one thing I've noticed is that a lot of pros are landing some of the bummiest drop spots of all time. Muzz, for example, right now is landing on this hill. You know, obviously there's actually a lot of loot down to this left side here. To be honest, I say that, but Muzz always has like some drop spot where there's like, you know, not a POI for the most part for solos. And a lot of the reason for this is that because the games are shorter, you still have the same like 3-hour window to play, but each game's 5 minutes shorter. So it's easier to play out all 10 games, which means if you die off spawn, is much riskier. So basically just choosing some drop spot where you can consistently get off spawn and not get fought 24/7 is way better than landing at like a risky POI. You might get 50-50 and die, because like one game can be, you know, you can play out, I think you can play out, I actually don't know how many games you can play out fully, I've not done the maths yet, but you can play out at least one more game than you used to be able to. So dying off spawn is worse. Oh no, poor guy, man. He's just fishing. He just wants some dash fish. It's just Jeffrey. All he wants is a fish so he can rotate. He's in the full box. No. No, Jeffrey. Low-key, though, obviously, if you don't know the fishing spots, I've said this already, I don't think fishing is that great, because as I've mentioned, right, the fish are great. You can skip like 3 rotates, essentially, with them, but they're not mandatory, and the fishing spots aren't that spread out through the map. So yeah, I mean, like, they're here only on the east of the map, so if you land somewhere on the west, not great. I would say keying someone, as Muzz has just done there, who will be fishing, is kind of free, right? Like this spot, these spots, especially kind of early into the game. Like, this is one of the most contested spots throughout all of the season. If you look at like a drop heat map, this has so many people, so they'll be fighting here forever. So if you land somewhere near and third party, and you can get free kills and maybe free kills when they're fishing. Same with this, you know, like same with it. Krusty maybe not so much, because people will be used to players rotating in, but potentially going somewhere like one of these little bummy spots early on and rotating into there to try and key someone. A, they might have fish for you if you can just insta kill them, which is cool, but B, they might just be like kind of scuffed. I do find it interesting that Muzz also goes back into the nuclear power plant to do the little mini game where you get the slurp from it as well. He seems to do that. I don't know if every game he's done it, but I watched his YouTube video of the cash cup, and he always had a slurp. You can do it from this side as well, which is interesting. Okay, so you don't even need to go in. Obviously, check the puzzle outside it. I want to see what loot he gets from this every time. Obviously, you get the slurp, but the fact that there's only one slurp, like obviously he thinks is worth it, and it's like one instance where you're just like not dead at all. I don't know if like is 3 bigs better. He's messing this up, man. Muzz, he doesn't know the strat. Is he just randomly trying this, or did he actually not read the puzzle outside? Does he not know how to do this? Does he not know how to do? Guys, it's right here. It's right here. It shows you the order in which to do it. I think Muzz must know that. I don't believe that Muzz doesn't know that. He must have just like forgotten it and gone, oh, that was wrong. There we go. Okay. Chug, slurp. Okay. Let me check what the spawn rates are from this. All right. Azurin doesn't have the loot for it, but I don't think you get a chug 100% of the time. I mean, the loot seems absolutely worth it at this point with a slurp and now a full chug. If you get a chug every single time, which I'm fairly certain you don't, I mean, yeah, that's absolutely worth going for. All right. Shout out Azurin for the loot, for the chances. This is actually in pubs, not in competitive. So this is going to be slightly different. Basically, your chance of getting stuff from the supply drop is a 54% chance of getting an assault rifle, 27. So he ends up getting a gold pump from this. That's why I was wondering. So basically you've got like a 4% chance of getting a gold pump. You've also got like a 3% chance of getting a gold thunder. So really you've got like a 7% chance of getting like a banginator pump. You could also of course get like one of the good rangers, which are super good too. More chugs, not shockwaves, because that's pubs, and also more blinky fish, quite high chance. So I think a lot of people are just, I was gonna say it's absolutely worth, if you get a supply drop near you, just rushing for it straight away. I was wondering if there was any correlation to where supply drops spawn in zones like there is in reload. As you know, in competitive reload, for some reason they always spawn in the next zone ahead, so you know you can always kind of basically use forecast by seeing where the supply drops spawn. But I don't think that's actually true at all. I've done a few games of testing. If I just like skip forward, let's see, obviously the drop was here, and yeah, so for example it was up here, the supply drop. So the next zone wasn't in that whatsoever. All right, because he's carrying blinky fish, I actually want to see when he uses them. In particular, he does have a max distance 7th zone. This would be a very strange time not to use one, let's be real. But I think a lot of the times, like for these kind of partial zones, using them slightly earlier makes a lot of sense. Like I was already mentioned, you don't really need to use them for end games that much. Whereas like if you use one now in a partial, you'll save so many mats. Okay, Also very important, you can take ticks to storm whilst you're popping them. Because as you notice, he's taken like 2 ticks here and an 8 tick. And then because it heals you 15 or whatever it is, you can then have that slightly later rotation. Jumping straight into the box. Okay, nice, interesting. You can have that slightly later rotation than other players. Which means you're going to be behind them, which means there's less chance you're getting shot in the back. Right, now he's used another dash fish. Obviously, you wouldn't have to. He picked up another one from that refresh. Dashes in, then boxes up. Unsurprisingly, by the way, Kurama is one of the best solo players for like opens formats and things like that. And he's in the center of these partials. That should not, and he has the pistol. Should not be surprising, the position that, like, anytime you watch like really good solo players, Muzz is not a good example of this because he is a really good solo player, but he's in one of the worst spots possible. But yeah, most of the time, you can always check where their positions are. Higher layer, center zone, free rotates, whichever way he wants to go. All right, now using it on the 8 zone rotate, so first moving, unsurprisingly here. Looking up and dashing to keep dashing over everyone's head so you don't keep landing and having to slide with it. That's what I mean. You basically get 1 rotate of it. So the thing is with that fish, he's now not even made the full first moving because it doesn't actually take you like that far at all. So like I said, it's very good, but if you're playing solo cash cup, it's not mandatory to make sure you have 3 to carry them because you can't just do these rotates without. Even 1 or 2 is super useful to make sure you get through like 1 tough rotate, because 1 tough rotate can, you know, spend half your mats or something like that if done wrong. He just rotates by foot then to get in, doesn't use the other one. So I mentioned that other one will be used on the 9th zone. Yep, zone starts to pull far, waits again till last second, doesn't use the fish here. That's really interesting actually. So just goes to tar, puts himself up to a high layer. Maybe he's going to end up staggering here, so get himself up. There's a fly in here. Gets himself up to a high layer, staggers in front side, and then maybe uses the fish later. Salty springing from height. Yeah, uses the fish then. Interesting. So like an early stagger with the fish, and then early stagger with using some materials, and then uses the fish to get up onto height at the front side. Very nice. And you see, he just got shot by Kurama, who had the thingy there. I've seen this because I watched this video on his YouTube. He's gonna crouch. So a lot of people still don't know. If you get shot from underneath with the pistol, it'll send you up. But if you crouch like this, it does not send you flying. So you see, the first thing he does is he crouches to make sure that if he gets shot again, he's not going to fly up into the sky. Spoiler, I already know that it's not going to continue to get shot after this. It isn't like full crouch on height for the rest of the game. So it's not like a flawless strat, but still something that's super useful if there's teams down below who have the Krusty's Mr. Blasty. Another thing I want to mention here was that Muzz very often, this is a WK game, takes the pistol and the pump. Now, I cannot box fight with this to save my life because my aim is awful. But Muzz's aim is not awful. And throughout this game, he gets so many free kills just because he's carrying the pistol. Here's prime example number 1. Pistol headshot, bang, double pump, dead. Super free. Like, obviously the Krusty is crazy for situations like that. But even the fact that it does like almost 60 damage with a single shot by itself is just crazy. But I would guarantee most people are probably not good enough box fighters to make it worth carrying. Box fighting with it. See how that one ends up going. He's in. Pump, pistol. Okay, just a little double pump. He did open this fight with a pistol shot as well. But yeah, you get the point. If you're a really good box fighter, the amount of damage you can get with this pistol at range is insane. So like, you know, you can get a lot of free kills, especially with the headshot multiplier being so high as well. Hope this gave you an idea of what these solos metas are. There's only a single week left of it, and they might even change the meta if there's like an update or patch before then. Chainsaw's pretty good for the kind of partial zones. Not that good for end games. The fish, same thing, mainly used in partials, maybe that first moving zone as well. Both aren't really required. You can just take like an extra heal. It doesn't really make that much of a difference. Obviously, the games we've watched so far have had predominantly players using most of the rotations, but still, you gotta fight everyone on rotate, guys. Max distance rotate, that's the best time to fight everyone and shoot everyone on rotate. Like, subscribe, use code RESUB in the item shop. Peace.